Hi, I'm Senate Majority Leader John Flanagan, and I'd like to wish you and your family a happy and a prosperous new year. This month we open another legislative session in Albany. I'm optimistic about New York's future. We are an upstate or downstate. We're one state, the great state of New York, bound together by our common values and our shared experiences. And if we set the politics aside and work together in a bipartisan manner, there isn't anything we can't accomplish. Today, the governor presented us with his executive budget. We should take it and use it as a roadmap to an even better enacted budget, one with a significant and meaningful imprint from the members of our Senate Republican majority, and to show New Yorkers that the legislature continues to take its most important job seriously. We will approve the budget on time for the 6th year in a row. I'm often asked to list my top priorities. Here's where I start. Jobs, jobs, jobs. As a state, we need to do more to encourage economic development and the creation of good-paying jobs, so our children have opportunities to raise their families here. We need to make it more affordable to live and work in New York, and we must strive every day to improve the quality of life for millions of our residents. This year, it's more important than ever that we take additional steps to improve the state's finances. We've made real progress in protecting hardworking taxpayers and their families, but there's more to be done. Once again, we should pass a responsible budget that restricts state spending growth to 2% or less. But we will go a step further and call on the governor and the Assembly to finally join us this year in passing a permanent state spending cap. It's so important that the Senate has already acted this year to establish a spending cap in law. By doing so, we can shore up the state's finances for the long haul and protect the families of tomorrow from the overspending of the past. As part of the upcoming budget, Senate Republicans will recommend doing away with every dollar that remains of the gap elimination adjustment scheme and doing away with it this year. And we will fight to deliver another record school aid increase so our kids have the resources they need to learn and thrive. It's part of the Senate Republicans' long-standing commitment to making record investments in education, and it's a wise investment in the future. This year, let's do even more to keep our citizens safe in their homes and in their communities. To that end, Senate Republicans, along with Senator Tom Croce, will be advancing a series of measures in the coming months aimed at combating terrorism and protecting law-abiding New Yorkers. We will enact a comprehensive job training and workforce development package so every individual has the skills they need to secure a better and more prosperous future for themselves and their families. We will make critical investments in the state's infrastructure and restore parity by passing a long overdue 5-year capital plan for upstate roads and bridges. And we will end the most burdensome and outdated regulations on businesses so it's easier to run a business and create new jobs in New York. Recently, middle-class taxpayers like you received hundreds of dollars in property tax relief in the form of a direct rebate check. That was a Senate Republican initiative, born of a desire to allow you to keep more of your hard-earned money. And we're going to keep working to ensure taxpayers all across the state continue to get the relief they deserve. This session, we will redouble our efforts to address the heroin epidemic along with Senator Fred Akshar and Lyme disease with Senator Serino here in New York. We have active task forces meeting to advance legislation to do more on these fronts. And it's making a real difference in saving the lives of many New Yorkers. Speaking of saving lives, it's time we do more to encourage organ donation. Did you know there are 120,000 people currently waiting for organ transplants, including more than 10,000 in the greater New York area? Or that New York ranks 50th out of 50 states in the percentage of residents enrolled as organ donors. Let's work together this year to change those statistics for the better. Finally, it's no secret to anyone that the last year has been a difficult one in Albany. We've seen 2 legislative leaders, one a Democrat, the other a Republican, convicted of public corruption. I'm saddened by what has occurred, and I know many of you are angry and disappointed. Let me be as clear as I can be. We take this seriously and are already hard at work to restore the public trust. But we should not lose sight of what has already been done to improve the state's ethics and disclosure laws and to hold elected officials accountable for their actions. Number 1, public now has more information about the business and financial interests of its lawmakers than they have at any time in the state's history. Number two, legislators who came into office after August 15, 2011 and are convicted of a felony will automatically be stripped of their pensions. As a next step, the Senate worked very hard to ensure the same goes for all legislators, regardless of how long they've served in office. That would require changing the Constitution. Last year, we reached what we thought was a three-way agreement to do so. The Senate acted decisively to pass this measure, but the Assembly did not. In the name of reform, I hope they will reconsider. Here in the Senate, we've also put in internal safeguards to prevent any politician's reach from becoming too big or too powerful. Our chamber's rules now prohibit any leader or committee chair from serving more than 8 years in that capacity. We enacted these term limits voluntarily. To build on our internal rule, we've also passed legislation as recently as yesterday to enact it into state law. At the end of the day, all the laws in the world won't always prevent bad people from doing bad things. If we want to truly make positive change, it starts with every member of the legislature. If we want to restore the public trust, we must set a shining new example. We must raise our expectations to meet yours. We must pledge to conduct our business in a respectful, honorable, and trustworthy way. I know we can do it. We've taken an oath of office to serve our constituents to the best of our ability. But now we will also take an oath to each other to leave this place better than we found it, to put the interests of every resident of this state ahead of our own. The legislature is overflowing with good and honest members who chose public service for all the right reasons. New Yorkers are watching. It's time to write a new chapter so that we can have the most productive session in history. God bless the state of New York and its people. Thank you, and have a great day.